Good morning, student. Today we will be starting with the second part of the chapter tsunami. In yesterday's video class, we had learned and read what had happened over Andaman. Okay, I told you yesterday that this chapter is based on three places that which was very bizarrely hit by the natural disaster tsunami, right? Okay, so the first place was Andaman, second place is Thailand, and the third place is India. Okay, so in the story the tsunami, we will be reading about all the three places and incidents and survival stories from the chapter. Okay, there were many people who got hurt in this entire disaster. Okay, the loss of natural life and property was immense and they irrevocable, right? Okay, so in the first part, so there are three parts, and in the three parts we will be reading the stories of the survivors from three different places. First part we read about Andaman, okay, the Kutchal and other places. And second we will be reading about Thailand, how there was a girl and what she did. Okay, and the third place is about what? Third place is about the India itself, how the entire Tamil Nadu coastal area, especially eastern coastal area, was devastated with the particular disaster, right? Okay, so this is it, and this story is specially there in our syllabus to make us understand through the time. The disaster has already happened in India and other places has already recovered, but it is there in our syllabus to let us remind, and we should know that what had happened and how people coped with it. Especially there are no the emphasis is not only on only on the devastation, right? It is on the survival story, how you need to keep your courage on, right, in the most difficult time. Okay, so these survival stories are there to let you understand that hope and willpower is the ultimate thing that you can hold on when the times are the most difficult. Today we will be starting with the second part, that is the story of the Thailand. Okay, so there are comprehension check after each and every part. There are few comprehension check question that we will be going through in the at the end of the class. Okay, fine. So we will be starting with second part. This is a story about Tilly Smith, a British schoolgirl who was able to save many lives during that tsunami, because somewhere she had read about it, okay, in her class. Okay, so I will again, you know the drill. I'll read some part of the story and then I'll go on explaining what does it mean. So I'll start reading a part. Tilly Smith, a British schoolgirl, was able to save many lives when the tsunami struck Phuket Beach in Thailand. Though she has won a number of awards, her parents have not allowed their daughter to be interviewed on television and made into a heroine. Okay, so what had happened? There is this small girl who is named as Tilly Smith. She was able to save many lives during that tsunami in Thailand, but her parents never wanted her to become into a heroine or become into somebody who is very great. She was not allowed to interview. She was not any news channel was not allowed to interview her and make her a very great person, because that is what a human does, right? We are there for each other, and nobody, it is good that somebody does it and somebody does accept interviews and everything, but it is their own ideology that what they want to do and what they don't want to do, right? So her parents did not want that just saving lives in that during that time of necessity or disaster should have been a very heroic kind of a stuff, because that is what humans are for and that is very natural. They did not want it to exaggerate, right? Okay, now here is a story from Thailand. The Smith family from Southeast England were celebrating Christmas at a beach resort in southern Thailand. Tilly Smith was a 10-year-old schoolgirl. Her sister was even 7 years old. Their parents were Penny and Colin. Smith. So this is the family of Tilly Smith. She had another one small sister who was 7 years old, and her parent was Penny and Colin. So it was obviously 26 December 2004. Deadly tsunami waves were already on their way. They had begun triggering a massive earthquake off North Sumatra earlier that morning. So the earthquakes, before the tsunami, the earthquakes were already in process, right? And they had started taking place in North Sumatra, okay? Northern part of Sumatra. The water was swelling and kept coming in. So Penny and Smith, they just, this is the later on record. What happens is they Penny Smith, one of the mother of Tilly Smith, recalled that the water was swelling and kept coming in. The water got big, the waves got bigger and bigger, and then they kept coming in. There was no stop for it. The beach was getting smaller and smaller. I didn't know what was happening. So the beach kept on decreasing, okay, and there was only water. But Tilly Smith sensed that something was wrong. Her mind kept going on to a geography lesson she had taken in England just 2 weeks before she flew out to Thailand with her family. So, when she faced this situation, her mind ran back to the geography. Her mind ran back to the geography lesson, what she had taught or what she was being taught by her teacher about a particular class. Okay, she had taken that lesson just 2 weeks before coming to the vacation. Okay, Tilly saw the sea slowly rise and start to foam, bubble, and form whirlpools. She remembered that she had seen this in a class in a video of tsunami that had hit the Hawaiian Islands in 1946. So when the situation was gradually developing and building up, she could easily remember that she had seen a similar video back in her class, and it was a tsunami that had struck Hawaiian Islands in 1946. Her geography teacher had shown her class the video and told them that tsunami can be caused by earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. So she got the knowledge that these tsunamis can be caused by either earthquakes and other volcanoes and landslides. These particular things can cause the tsunami. Tilly started to scream at her family to get off the beach. She talked about an earthquake under the sea. She got more and more hysterical, said her mother, Penny. I didn't know what tsunami was, but seeing my daughter so frightened, I thought something serious must be going on. So nobody had the idea what tsunami was, but she had an idea because she was being taught in the class about this particular thing, and she what the situation what Penny Smith recovers is from the past is Tilly started screaming, right? Shouted hysterically means she started screaming with anxiety, right? And she got very scared, and she started telling that it is a tsunami, it's a tsunami, and that kind of and she started, there was no time to explain what was going on. She just shouted that it was a tsunami that was going to hit the island, hit Thailand and the beaches. At that particular time, the mother did not know what tsunami was because she had never experienced or never seen or studied about it. But seeing her daughter that she was so seeing her daughter that she was so much frightened and anxious, she thought that something that was happening which was very disastrous by nature, right? Okay, so that is why Tilly, she got about earthquake under, and she was blurting whatever she knew, but Penny did not understand in that particular state of mind. Okay, and she just knew that something serious is going to happen, and that is why Tilly is so afraid or frightened in the entire situation. Tilly's parents took her and her sister away from the beach to the swimming pool at the hotel. A number of other tourists also left the beach with them. Then it was as if the entire sea had to come out after them. I was screaming, run. So after Tilly got a little bit frightened and panicked, they took Tilly, Penny, Colin, and her sister, both everybody, the entire family just ran towards the swimming pool of the resort. And seeing them, there were other teachers, other tourists also, who started running away from the beach, and they were with them. The family took refuge in the third floor of the hotel. The building withstood the surge of three tsunami waves. If they had stayed on the beach, they would not have been alive. Okay, so the entire building was, luckily the building was strong enough to absorb and withstand the three consecutive big surge of waves. And because they were at the third floor, at a higher place, what happened was they were alive and they were safe. But if they would have stayed back in the beach without knowing what it was, they would have been swept away, right? The Smiths later met other tourists who had lost entire families. Thanks to Tilly and her geography lesson, they had been forewarned. Tilly went back to her school in England and told her classmates her terrifying tale. So basically, if Tilly did not know that in beforehand that what tsunami was, it would have been not possible for her to save her family and other tourists. Because she had known the entire fact, she was forewarned, she could warn the entire family and other tourists just minutes before, and they could save themselves by taking a shelter in the third floor of the hotel, and they were safe. Okay, so this is the story from a Thailand of Tilly Smith, a girl. Okay, so in the next part, we will be reading about a story from India, and how these people in India had survived. Okay, so this is the end of the second part. In the next class, I am in the end of the chapter, we will be discussing both comprehension check questions and the working with the text questions. Thank you, and be safe and stay safe. Thank you.